Valley, the Senate Republican leader. Sir, you are online, I believe. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you very much, Senator Austin, and thank you for the opportunity to come before the Appropriations, Human Services, and Energy and Technology committees. This past year, the administration, majority, and Republicans touted a major state income tax cut. But we all need to understand and consider some other facts. Many vulnerable households effectively could lose all of their tax relief and more unless state officials act to fix heating assistance. Connecticut's poorest families on energy heating assistance could get nearly $1,000 less in government aid this winter. The maximum benefit for the poorest qualifying household next winter would be $1,350. That's down $970 from the $2,320 maximum benefit provided last winter. That $2,300 benefit was well below the $4,825 peak relief, which was granted in the winter of 2021-2022. To put it in perspective, this year's benefit is only 28% of what it was just 2 short years ago. We've heard that the earned income tax credit is going to help this out. Well, that only increased by $211. And Husky C covered Connecticut and many of the TANF programs. People that participate in LIHEAP already benefit under those programs, so it doesn't salt their pot. The solution: Connecticut can afford to help all those in need and stay warm. Our finances are flush. We have a $630 million surplus and a $3.3 billion rainy day fund. While state governments' coffers are full, there's a substantial part of our states that is very much so struggling today. Refusing to help on the grounds that it's Washington's responsibility is a callous and cold-hearted policy. Last year, Republicans and energy assistance advocates sounded the alarm, and we predicted that the $94 million in LIHEAP funds originally available for Connecticut last winter would be insufficient. We argued that a budget closer to $200 million was needed to meet the demand. Republicans tried during the committee process last August to allocate about $110 million in state ARPA funds to support winter heating assistance and were denied. Before, by the end of the year, an additional $30 million was added. However, at that time, I warned my colleagues that unless we amend the benefit levels at the same time, the $30 million would go unused. Unfortunately and tragically, that's exactly what happened. And we learned in March that none of the additional $30 million that had been committed toward heating assistance would be spent. Nothing, not a penny. And that was a terrible abdication of our duty on the part of state government, literally leaving people out in the cold. It is unconscionable that the $30 million we authorized to help people in need went unused. Imagine how many needy residents would have been helped by that money. Imagine how many people slipped further into poverty for failure to actually use that money. So why is LIHEAP so important? As Stephanie Ocasio-Gonzalez of Insonia said at a team meeting, she summed up the situation. Quote, "It seems like money is more important than human lives." Beyond heating her home, Ocasio-Gonzalez said the financial struggle is taking a toll on her mental health, making her think, what's the point? You play by the rules, you do what you have to do. You get up, you go to work, you do your job, you get home, you're tired, but you still keep moving, Ocasio-Gonzalez said. Are we living or are we just surviving? Despite the energy assistance she received, she said there's still no room to breathe because her other household bills, like groceries, have gone up too. In January, David Morgan, Team's president and CEO, and Team is a Derby-based human service group that helps struggling families in Naugatuck Valley, said the group has received more than 4,600 applications for energy assistance, a 35% increase from the same period last year. Does anyone really think this unsustainable trend is miraculously going to reverse itself this year? We must act to help those asset limited, income challenged families, and we must act to prevent tragedies like this from happening. You know, 40 years ago, I hate to admit how many years ago, I actually worked in this program, the Connecticut Energy Assistance Program in Bridgeport. Not only did we meet face to face, as the department mentioned earlier in their testimony, and deal with families in the office, but I also had the opportunity to do home visits throughout Bridgeport to verify the heating sources. And that gave me a personal experience to witness what LIHEAP means to the families, how important it is to their family budget, and worse, the dangers of when they don't have an identifiable heating source, that they turn to other alternatives like heating with a gas stove or an electric heater. So while we don't have LIHEAP, I've also heard that those are alternatives that people don't lose their utilities, but it's actually a dangerous and slippery slope. It's not the type of alternative to give families a proper warmth in the winter. The bottom line is the administration and the majority must acknowledge the facts that Republicans have and will continue to voice. Republicans will be that voice of those in need until they are heard. We are talking about people. Don't tell me that we can't afford it. These lives are in the balance. We can't afford not to do it. So I hope the committees agree and put more money. Obviously, Washington isn't doing its job, but that doesn't mean we aren't going to do ours. These are our neighbors, our communities. These are Connecticut citizens in need. And we hear their voice, and we want to make sure they get what they deserve. Thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you, Senator. Are there any questions for Senator Kelly? Senator Flexer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, Senator Kelly. Thank you for your testimony this afternoon. I just wondered if I could ask you, what would you propose we do?